Okay, let's dive into this. Welcome to this explainer. Today, we're taking on a massive, absolutely vital topic from our source material, our planet's ecological crisis. But hey, we aren't just going to look at the doom and gloom. We're going to decrypt the actual solutions. We're going to break down all those complex ecological buzzwords you hear thrown around into clear, understandable concepts, and most importantly, into actionable steps. We'll explore how shifting our perspective can literally transform the world around us. To get there, here's our roadmap. We'll cover 1. Reinventing our food system. 2. Natural farming practices. 3. Tech innovations. And 4. 7 citizen actions for nature. But before we get into the how, we really need to ask this fundamental question. How do we reinvent our relationship with the living world? You see, the ecological crisis we're facing, things like climate change, is often treated as the main disease. But according to our source material, climate change is actually just a symptom. The real root cause? It's a fundamental rupture in our balance with nature. We need systemic cures that actually repair that relationship.
Which brings us to part 1, reinventing our food system. To fix our networks, we have to move away from this colonial idea of infinite extraction and adopt a completely new relationship based on humility, reciprocity, and respect with the living world.
Let's move to part 2, natural farming practices. Let's see how this builds into actual, on-the-ground methods that mimic nature to heal the earth. First up is a massive buzzword you've definitely heard, agroecology. So, what is it? Simply put, it's taking the hard science of ecology and applying it directly to agriculture. Instead of fighting nature with synthetic fertilizers and chemical pesticides, agroecology uses natural synergy. It focuses on boosting biodiversity and letting the natural fertility of the soil do the heavy lifting. It's really the foundational philosophy for a sustainable future. Next, we have permaculture. If agroecology is the underlying science, you can think of permaculture as the overarching design architecture. It's a design method entirely inspired by how wild ecosystems actually operate. The goal here is to create agricultural systems that are completely sustainable, incredibly resilient to shocks, and ultimately autonomous. A well-designed permaculture farm eventually sustains itself with very little outside intervention, just like a wild forest does.
And this brilliantly illustrates the difference: monoculture versus polyculture. Monoculture, meaning planting one single crop, well, it severely depletes the soil and makes the whole system highly vulnerable to disease. It's like putting all your eggs in one very fragile basket. Polyculture, on the other hand, is the simultaneous cultivation of multiple plant species on the exact same plot. By mixing species, the farm gains the natural strength and resilience of a wild ecosystem, which drastically reduces the spread of disease.
Another absolutely vital piece of this puzzle is agroforestry. This is the practice of combining trees, crops, and sometimes even livestock all on the same piece of land. We absolutely must bring trees back into our crop fields. Trees are the quiet architects of the biosphere. They provide vital shade to prevent water evaporation. Their root structures stabilize the soil against erosion, and they create a perfect habitat for natural pest controllers like birds and insects.
Now, taking this mimicking of nature even further, we have syntropic agriculture. This is a fascinating regenerative approach that essentially imitates the natural succession of a forest. Instead of just planting things side by side, farmers organize their crops in vertical layers. It's incredible when you think about it. You have tall trees, mid-level shrubs, ground-level vegetables, and subterranean fungi, all cooperating in the exact same vertical space, capturing maximum sunlight and enriching the soil simultaneously.
Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the sheer output. You might naturally assume these natural methods produce less food, right? Actually, syntropic agriculture can produce 2 to 4 times more yield per square meter than traditional chemical methods. No way, right? But it's true. By stacking plants vertically and letting them cooperate, we create a hyper-productive system that heals the planet while actually feeding us more efficiently.
Let's shift gears to Section 3, Agricultural and Technological Innovations. We're moving from soil-based methods to modern, high-tech ways to grow food in places we never even thought possible.
Let's rapid fire through 3 amazing tech methods. First, hydroponics. This is growing plants entirely without soil, using a nutrient-rich water solution instead. Second, aquaponics, a brilliant circular system combining fish and plants. The fish waste naturally fertilizes the plants, and the plants filter the water for the fish. It's nature's ultimate recycling loop. Finally, agrivoltaics. This optimizes land use by combining agricultural crops and solar panels on the exact same surface. It protects the crops from extreme heat while generating clean energy at the very same time.
Moving on to Section 4,
7 citizen actions for nature. Let's zoom all the way into the micro level, because you don't need a farm or a high-tech lab to participate in this ecological shift today. Number 1, plant native shrubs and flowers. This directly feeds local pollinators. Second, install birdhouses and a small, unfrozen water source. Especially in winter, when food is scarce, this can literally save lives. Third, leave a wild corner in your garden or on your balcony with tall grass or dead branches to offer a refuge for vital insects. Fourth, vote with your wallet. Buy local and seasonal, eat fresh strawberries in the summer, and root vegetables like beets in the winter to slash transport emissions and support your local networks. Moving right along to number 5, transform your fruit and vegetable peels into compost. You drastically reduce your waste while creating rich, fertile earth for your plants. Sixth, sort your waste correctly into recycling, compost, and trash to protect your neighborhood's environment and wildlife. And seventh, and honestly perhaps the most important, talk about ecology with the people around you, because planting ideas is exactly how we harvest real-world actions. So, the crucial point is this powerful thought straight from our source material. The question is no longer whether we must act, but whether we will act at the root or only on the symptoms. Think about that for a second. Are we going to keep treating the symptoms, or are we going to reinvent our relationship with the living world? Start with your 7 actions today, and be sure to dive into the source material to explore these incredible solutions even further.